Recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is for a back-end Java software engineer. Now, I review more than tech resumes, but right now the tech market is on fire and in the dumpster. So most of the resumes sent to me are tech, specifically full stack and data analysts. But is this resume good or garbage? Well, the answer is it's garbage. And I know that because they told me their ratio. So this is a garbage resume because it only gets one interview per 150 applications at a minimum. It's actually takes them more than 150 applications. So that is how you can tell if your resume is good or garbage, is if you are getting a minimum of 50 applications to one interview. And when people follow my method, they get one interview per 7 applications. But honestly, anything under 1 in 50 is good. But this person has over 1 in 150. So this is a real stinker of a resume. So what do we need for a Java software engineer? We need Java, Spring, Spring Boot, Maven, SDLC, SQL, RESTful API or REST API, microservices, CI/CD, object-oriented programming, Git, Linux, Unix, Agile, Scrum, Cloud, any of them, architecting or systems work, Hibernate, Docker, Kubernetes, Kafka, and rare but nice to have is full stack DevOps, RabbitMQ, and AI. So I only have 20 seconds to find what I need in this resume, which again, because it's 150 to 1, I'm not going to find. But if a recruiter cannot find what they need in 20 seconds in your resume, you get yeeted and deleted. That is the only amount of time we have. So let's see what I can and cannot find in this backend Java developer resume. And go. Design and develop AI validations, blah, 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 blah. Not relevant. This, not relevant. Root cause analysis, async. Hot dog. Developer greenfield microservices to production in under 4 months using Java, Spring Boot. There we go. Actually relevant. And time. So that is all the time I got. This is why this formatting is bad. You do not want to use this formatting. Because what you want to use is this formatting. This is the formatting you should use. It is in the link below. It is free for everybody to look at on my website and use. Please, please use it. This is the format you want. The only reason the formatting is important is how far down your resume I can read. And with this type of resume, I can usually read down to here. With this type of resume, I only got up to here. So this is why this resume stinks. It doesn't have anything I wanted, and it's filled with stuff that is hot dogs. So what I mean by that is I want you to imagine that you're hungry and you go to a restaurant and you be like, hey, I'd like a cheeseburger. And the waiter goes, y'all want a cheeseburger? And you say, yeah, just one cheeseburger. And the waiter says, all right, y'all, coming right up. So they go back to the kitchen and they bring you a hot dog with cheese. And you go, excuse me, I think there's been a mistake. I wanted a cheeseburger. This is a hot dog. And they say, no, what y'all wanted was this, because if you think about it, a hot dog has meat like a hamburger. A hot dog has buns like a hamburger. And a hot dog can't have cheese just like a hamburger. So when you really said a cheeseburger, what you really meant was a hot dog. You would walk away from that restaurant without paying because they are gaslighting you. And that is the exact same thing that this resume is doing to me. Is they're saying a bunch of stuff that is hot dogs. Designed and developed AI documentation validation agents on internal generative AI, blah, 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 not relevant. They also filled this with a random number, and one of the few numbers you want on your resumes, besides your dates of employment, is the amount of users you've had. The problem is serving 100+ million annual interactions does not give me the context I need. I need to see how many users per month. You said interactions and annual, so that doesn't count. Also, you want to do it per month, per day, or per month, per day, or per week. You do not want to do it per year. That's way too big of a timeline. So nothing in this sentence can really be used. Then we go down to here, which is identify the root cause of production out of memory crash by blah, blah, blah. Hot dog, 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 hot dog. And then we go down to here. And why is it that for a Java engineer, the very first time I see Java is on your third bullet point? Hiring in software engineering is based on stacks. You may not like that fact, but it is. And you need to show the stack you have, in this case is Java, in the very first bullet point. The problem is you also need to show it in qualification format, not keyword format. So even though you wrote these keywords, it would not count because you did not write it correctly. And how you write it correctly is what you did, which is a keyword, right? That's what one of these are. It's important. Plus how you did it, which you kind of did on this sentence right down here, right? You kind of did that. Plus the non-technical reason you did it, which you did not explain because 0 production defects means nothing, and where you did it. So you need, which you did have. Where is just not in a summary or skill section. So you need to have what, how, non-technical, why, where. And this person has the what, the how, the where, but not the non-technical reason. Because they don't have the non-technical reason, sadly, this bullet point does not count because real-time mortgage decisioning with 0 production defects is not non-technical enough. You need to explain this to somebody that cannot turn on their monitor, right? And I'm not even joking, and I'm not telling that for the recruiter. I'm saying you need your resume to be understandable to the layman, and yours is not. Then design and implemented event-driven Kafka, okay, cool, pipelines for the origination processing at blah, 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 for developing consumer blah. Okay, so again, you only have one keyword in this sentence, which is bad. You want a minimum of 3, a maximum of 6. And you do not tell me the non-technical reason, so this doesn't count. So this is why your resume is getting yeeted and deleted, is there's practically nothing here. You're a Java developer that doesn't tell me their stack until their third line. In that third line, you don't tell me the non-technical reasons you did what you did. The entire resume is filled with deep, deep technical dives that nobody's going to understand or care about. And I mean that even to the hiring manager, not just the recruiter. And you just also don't even have enough. Like, you don't even have enough of the stuff I'm looking for up here. So you don't have enough keywords. You don't have enough qualifications, which is the real problem. And your formatting is awful because I need 75% of these in the first 20 seconds. If I do not find 75% of these in the first 20 seconds, I will have to yeet and delete your resume. So it's kind of all I can do with this because I'm also looking at like these and this doesn't matter. And this one is not bad, actually. Owned features end-to-end for wide being new technical and non-technical stakeholders. See, I actually kind of like that one, but I need more, right? I need at least 3 keywords there. That's only 1, which is the end-to-end business requirement. That could be 2. The speaking to non-technical people is important, but nobody's going to scroll that far down in your resume to even get to that green line. So you really need to delete this resume and start again because this is why you're getting rejected. So before we go to the next resume, I just want to thank all of my members on YouTube for watching. Thank you very much for supporting this channel. They get access to videos a little bit early. If you want to join and be a member, you can join in the link below. But again, thank you very much for supporting my channel. I really, really appreciate your membership. And I appreciate everybody else for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. And if you ever needed more help, you can always join my live stream. That's where I review these every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on YouTube and twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. So yeah, let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of another Java developer. That often does not happen, 2 of them in a row. This one is actually supposed to be pretty good. This person gets a 1 in 25 ratio. So I'm expecting to find stuff that I need, right? I'm expecting to find stuff that I need, but maybe the formatting is bad, or maybe it's not quite as perfect as it could be, but this is probably going to be a pass. So 20 seconds on the clock. Let's see what where did it go here, what we can find. All right, and go. Okay, degree, good. Design and implemented multi-threaded Java Spring. Okay. Built an agentic code pipeline. There it is. Python integrating OpenAI with GitHub servers, automating daily RPOs, implemented automated lifetime limited data storage costs annually. No, reduced incoming ticket volume by, okay. Time. Startups would love this resume. I think it may not do as well with non-startups, but it did have some of the stuff I was looking for. So what you want in a startup resume is going to be different than what you want in a non-startup resume. But let me tell you what they did right and what they can do wrong. So first off, formatting was bad. Please use this formatting. It's not the worst. The previous formatting was worse, but you want to use this formatting. But what they did right, though, designed and implemented a Java Spring Boot backend cleanup to orchestrate domain deletions. You told me how. Processing 10K requests daily. This is an appropriate use of numbers. Very, very often software engineers will put a bunch of random numbers in. This is actually a good use of numbers. Tells me 10K daily. They would love that. Now, what would I like is I'd like you to tell me the non-technical reason you did what you did right here, right? So designed and implemented a multi-threaded Java Spring Boot background with, and then add like 2 or 3 more of these to processing 10K dailies for our X and Y app. All right. I want you to finish off the sentence with the how, the non-technical why. Build an agentic code interview pipeline. They love agentic stuff. They would love this. Using Python and TypeScript, integrating OpenAI codecs with, Python and TypeScript. TypeScript is something I might want for full stack. But again, I would prefer you had a little bit more stuff here. But they would like OpenAI codecs. They would like Bitbucket, MCP server. And then this is bad. Implement an automated lifecycle that terabyte. This entire sentence can probably get deleted. Reduce incoming ticket volume by 35%. This is a bad number. This is a bad number. Do not have this number. This is a meaningless number. But the users is a good number. Supporting 2 million active customers. This is a good number. Volume of users is good number. Percentage of anything else is bad. So Docker. Okay. So my problem with this resume, right? Would this pass? Yeah, probably. Especially for a startup, they would love this. Is you kind of only have 2 keywords per bullet point, and some of these you do not explain the non-technical why. But this is what happens when you this resume does pass, is better than the previous one, but I need the non-technical whys, and I need you to, I think you should also shrink these bullet points. I think you should only have about 4 bullet points here, because look at this. Developed and maintained a CI/CD pipeline using AWS Lambda is good. Like, I didn't even get to the cloud down there. And the rest of that is good. Like your second, I just need more, right? I think it does pass, but if you want a true 1 in 7, you're going to need to have 3 keywords per bullet point. You're going to need to explain the non-technical reasons why, and you're going to have to remove a bunch of these percentages, but you should definitely keep the ones I highlighted in green. And honestly, I am working for some startups. They may actually want to see you as well. So I may have you send me your resume directly. Might have somebody that would be interested. We'll see. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a interior designer. So this is in Canada, right? These are the interior designer in Canada's roles. And I will say this job market is not good. There was only like 17 of these roles posted a week, and your goal should be to find 128 jobs a week. Now, that doesn't mean you have to apply to 128 jobs a week. You should only apply to 50 of them, but you need the ability to find 128 jobs per week. Because otherwise that means that there's not enough roles to apply to. So, what do we need for an interior designer? We need degrees, certs, NCIDQ, CICD. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, Lee, what is that? I have no idea. All I know is the job descriptions required it. And if I do not see NCIDQ or CID, I am going to reject you. Revit, Photoshop, InDesign, AutoCAD, MS Office. Those are critical. Multitask while meeting all deadlines. The industry, so like building codes or healthcare, SaaS. I need to see that you can interpret sketches, drawing, program, and other design documentations accurately and communicate design ideas to a non-technical audience. So this person said they are currently working and trying to transition into a design or management role. They're on a valid Canadian work permit and would require sponsorship. So I do not know the Canadian sponsorship rules. I know the United States sponsorship stuff. I have no idea what it is for Canada. So 20 seconds on the clock. Although this is actually a role that is, there's just not a lot of these posted a week, so they would probably give you 40 seconds. So I'm going to give this person 40 seconds. So, all right, go. And no, this doesn't count. I mean, you do say that you have it, but you need to say it in the actual bullet points. So mostly this doesn't count, but it's so impacted they might actually care about it, or unimpacted. All right, and we give them another 20 seconds because of how little jobs there are for this. Led daily consultation on programming needs and translation of vision and tailored design concepts for custom kitchen county supporting walking clients' appointments. That's actually okay. Develop space plans, 2D layouts for kitchen order managing and scopes for completion. Specify in present applications, plumbing. These are mostly bad. And time. I did not find enough to move you forward. In fact, the one thing I'm really concerned about here is there it is. You're actively pursuing eligibility for the NCIDQ. That might be a deal breaker for a lot of these places. They required it, but your formatting is awful. Yeah, I don't like this resume at all. If this was any other market, you would never get a call back, but because this role is so difficult to find because there's just not a lot of people there, you might get an interview or two, but it says you get a 1 in 50. But considering there's only 17 of these applications sent a week, that's actually terrible. Like, a 1 in 50 assumes that you can find 128 jobs a week. If you cannot find 128 jobs a week, then your ratio will need to be different. And this person can only find 17 a week, which means a 1 in 50 is bad. That's a failure. They need a minimum of 1 in 17 to move, like, as a C- equivalent. I hope that made sense. My brain is not braining right. Basically, this resume fails because of the market. So what do I need you to do? I need you to delete this and start again. I just don't see what I need, right? I don't see Revit. I don't see Photoshop. I don't see InDesign. I don't see AutoCAD. I don't see MS Office. I don't see that you can multitask while meeting on deadlines. I do see the industry. I think I saw interpret sketches, drawings, but I don't really see the other stuff. So I'm just going to need you to start this again, and I'm going to need you to do this, and probably find more roles to apply to, because that's just not enough. So that's all I can do for this one. It just does not have enough to move you forward, unless they were very desperate because they could not find anybody else, which is not what you want, because that just means it's a failure of the resume. And if your resume was better, you could command a higher salary and get more roles. So you need to delete this and start again. And I need you to have it, these things, and I need you to make it simple. Next resume. This is a desktop engineer role. So what do we need for a desktop engineer? We need Windows 10 or 11, Microsoft MS 365 stack, so Entra ID, Intune Exchange, Word, Excel, Outlook, troubleshooting, DNS, DHCP, DCP, IP, and VPN, which honestly, I think the most important one there is the VPN more than any of the others. I need to see that you can multitask while meeting all deadlines, perform customer service, produce clear technical documentations and ticket notes that another engineer can act on, and you're going to see this in a lot of my videos, explain complex technical details for non-technical people. That is critical. This person has a 100-to-1 ratio, which is bad, but not the worst. That means there are 1 or 2 things that are salvageable, but mostly it may be a yeet it and delete it resume. So having a background in various technologies, it's super hard for me to tailor my resume. No, it's not. Should not be. You tailor your resume to the job title, not what you have. A resume is a snapshot of what you've done in your career, not your whole career. I'm getting 1 out of 150 job. Okay, so it's 1 out of 150 job interviews that are coming up from irrelevant positions. I don't know what to put in the resume. You put this. This is it. This is it. You're overthinking it. You're trying to show how good you are, and you're trying to put all these other crazy things when is this. Desktop engineers need this. So, can I find this in 20 seconds? Probably not. No, but let's give it a look-see anyway. So, 20 seconds on the clock, and away we go. Messing up. All right, away we go. All right, this doesn't matter. This is good. This doesn't matter. Primary senior escalation point for desktop support. Okay. Across user enterprise, that's not bad. Resolving complex endpoint application used in Windows 10, Mac OS, via Intune and Jamf. Okay, but I need more. Design and deployed scalable endpoints on, you already mentioned this. This doesn't matter. Built PowerShell doesn't matter. And this is irrelevant. All right, time. This is the problem with your resume, is it is so technically dense that nobody can figure out what you do. You may have done 1,000 things, but that does not matter. A resume is not a jack of all trades, master of none, and it's often better than a master of one. A resume is you need to pick one thing and make your resume based entirely on it. So that is why this fails. You need to use my formatting because this is a nightmare to read. So A, delete this. No, not the Boston. You want to keep where you're at. So that, delete that, then this. Because remember, these need to be in the bullet points. And your first bullet point is actually not that bad. That's actually not that bad. I actually kind of like it. Primary senior escalation. You don't need to say senior, just primary escalation point for desktop support across amount of users, right? That's fine. Resolving complex endpoint application and identity issues. This part I don't care about on Windows 10, Intuit, and that. So you almost have a good first sentence, which do the dashes mean you used AI for this? You might have used AI for this. I don't know. I would rather you stated primary escalation for issues on Windows 10, 11, Intra ID, Excel, DNS, HP, basically 4 of these things up here. So primary escalation point for desktop issues on Windows 10, 11, Intune, and VPNs for 2,500 users, where I would, for 2,500 users. That actually displays the non-technical reason. That's fine. Then we go down to here, and again, nothing here matters. 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 You already mentioned Enter ID, so you don't need to mention it again. The goal should be the same keyword should not duplicate itself in the same job. You can use Intra ID here and here, but do not put it here and here. So the same keyword should not have a duplicate in the same job. You should have them in multiple jobs because that shows years of experience, but not in the same job. So my problem with this resume is that there's actually nothing here. You've spent this entire giant page, and the only thing good, which again is solid, is your first sentence. But this stuff doesn't matter. Like, why do I care that you use Jira across sprint cycles for incident tracking and resolution? Is that what I'm looking for? No. Maybe Agile. I could be charitable and say maybe Agile, but probably not. Maintain documentation, but is that clear documentation and ticket notes that another person can use? No, it's not. You didn't say that. SOPs don't care about, and operational rulebooks while collaborating, blah, blah, blah. Again, none of that matters. That's not what I'm looking for. It doesn't matter that you cured world hunger. It matters that you've used Excel. Served as a 223 escalation. Pronounce that all wrong. Escalation point for MS 365. Don't really care about most of this stuff. Managing desktop support. Okay, that's fine. Delivered application support in Zoom, Slack, Teams. Don't care. 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 And don't care. Don't care. Don't care. So your problem is you're trying to show how good you are and fit in all this stuff that you think is good, but it doesn't matter. You know what I don't see? That you can explain complex technical details for non-technical people. I don't see that you can produce clear technical documentation. I don't see that you can multitask while meeting on deadlines. I don't see that you can do customer service. I don't see that you can do DNS, DHCP, TCP, and VPNs. I can see Windows 10 and 11 and Intra and Intune, and that's it. So this is why you're struggling to get a job, is you're trying to cram everything you've ever done into a resume when that is not what they're for. They're snapshots of your career. That's all they are. They are relevant snapshots. When you try to make it this, you start having big problems. Next resume. This is a resume of a software engineer intern. So what do we need for a software engineer intern? Well, we only need a couple of things. We need your degree, right? I need to make sure that you're still employed. A basic knowledge of the tech stack. So in this case, language, SQL, cloud, AI, object-oriented programming. Just a little bit of it, right? I need to see it. Again, I want a tech stack. Just the basics, okay? Just the basics. Then I need to see the ability to work well with others, that you can take direction and criticism, and that's it. For interns specifically, this does not count for freshers. This is only for interns. I need to see that you can work well with others and take direction and criticism. Almost every single internship, except some master's and PhD level internships, are going to require you to show that you can work well together with other people and that you can take direction and criticism. If you do not show that, you are not going to get moved forward. So you could show that you made the biggest, bestest tech thing ever. If you don't show that you can work well with others and take direction and criticism, it's not going to matter. This person said, I just found my channels, so thank you. This is a terrible resume, so we don't know its ratio, but we know it's bad. So 20 seconds on the clock, and let's go. All right. Okay. Architected a scalable Google Cloud, data infrastructure, pipelines, data endpoints. No, way too technical. Built a deterministic. Nope. Develop partition batch pipes using what? Spatio-temporal. Okay. First off, I do not need time travel in the resume with spatial temporal. All right. And that also sounds like a spell in Harry Potter. I imagine it's not, but this does not work. None of this works. You have focused entirely on bragging, and there is a big problem with people trying to show me how good they are through their resumes. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't do that through a resume. A resume is not built to show how good you are. It's meant to show you meet the minimum qualifications. And this is a resume of somebody who is screaming at me to show me how good they are. But it doesn't matter because I'm not going to know. Same with the manager. No one can tell how good you are through 20 seconds. That's the entire point of the resume and why you should not try to do it, because resumes cannot do that. Resumes show you meet the minimum qualifications. And you know what I don't see? I don't see a basic knowledge of any tech stack. I don't see SQL. When I say cloud, I need you to put GCP, right? If you're doing Google Cloud. So this should have been should have been Google Cloud Platform, parentheses GCP, because they're not going to know otherwise. You can also use AWS or Azure, but Google Cloud Platform needs to be written out. I don't see AI. I don't see object-oriented programming. I don't see that you can work well together with others, and I don't see that you can take direction and criticism. It may be further on in the resume, but that doesn't matter because, again, you only get 20 seconds, and no one's going to get past here. But this is so technically dense that they're going to read this and be like, oh, okay, this is not a software engineer. They can't work well together with others, so I'm just going to move on to the next person. I need you to use this format, and then I need you to delete these bullet points and start again. And I need you to make them not technical, right? I know you're smart, okay? Like, you're a very smart cookie, because these test scores show that you're very smart. The problem is the people reviewing your resume are not going to understand that. In fact, I don't even think you should put these test scores on there because they're also indecipherable. What does it mean that you got a JEE math at a 99.4 percentile over 98.6 percentile? I don't know what that means. And I'm not like being facetious here. I'm like, Does that mean you were in the top 0.6%? But then over 98.6 percentile is throwing me. SAT math is, that makes sense. But like, this is so technical that no one's even going to do it. Like, if you really want to put one of these test scores, they need to be understandable to the layman. And I need to know how they do with this, because it's great that you have math. They may not care that you have math. They want to care that you have Java, which I don't see. I don't see Python. I don't see C#.net. I don't see RESTful APIs. I don't see cloud, because remember, you need to put out Google Cloud Platform, which is silly, but unfortunately, it's just not as well known as AWS or Azure, so you have to do that. So I need you to delete this and start again, and I need you to make it look like this. And I need you to be very simple and basic with what you put, because I've gotten plenty of people internships, and what gets internships is this. It's the basics. The more overcomplicated and technical your resume, the worse it is. It is a simplification document at its core, and you need to make sure that it is simplified. So that's all I can do for this resume and this video. I just want to thank my members for supporting this channel. They get access to videos a little bit early, and if you wanted to be a member, you can join in the link below. Just want to say thank you very much for supporting me. And to all of my non-members, thank you very much for watching. And if you ever need help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, or right here on YouTube. And I will help you all out. That's where you get your resume reviewed. So that's all I can do. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Later.